They are required to open a law firm.
Schwartz Feldman and Johnson Caslow Smith Russo. Rolls right off the tongue.
Spanish people have two surnames very often. And their children get first surname of each parent. And father's surname is first. So if Mark Marquez Alenta and Penelope Cruz Sanchez had a child, their surname would be Marquez Cruz.
We have a lot of Hispanic employees at my work. It's always interesting to me to look at the employee list and see people with the last name Lopez Lopez or Reyes Reyes.
It's how you get Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de la Rosa Ramirez. Edit. Or even Madeline Margaret Genevieve Miranda Catherine, Maddie, Fitzpatrick.
Best assistant night manager on TV. I will hear no slander on the name of Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de la Rosa Ramirez. A family tradition of ever-lengthening hyphenated names begins.
That bring further questions. What if their child Janet Plazas Rodriguez Smith Wesley marries James Smith? Do they have the name twice or just settle for Smith being in there?
I have a friend who has mentioned that one of the things she admires about another friend of ours is that he is the only non-blood relative who actually knows all her names. Including her husband. She comes from a Bolivian family, and their tradition is just to keep all the names. She's got, 20. She uses one. Historically, people used whichever names were most prestigious, which families they most wanted to present themselves as belonging to. So you would pick 2 or 3 of the most useful ones and hyphenate them. In the modern Western world, which is less extended clan-focused, you just do whatever sounds best. My sister and I got tired of writing out our hyphenated names growing up. I took Dad's last name and she took Mom's.
What a cool tradition. Having a hard time finding examples online though.
If the former first baseman from the Miami Marlins Tyler Moore married Mary Tyler Moore, who had married Steven Tyler and then divorced him and married Roger Moore, then divorced him and married Dudley Moore, she would be Mary Tyler Moore Moore Tyler Moore Moore.
And my friends think I'm wasting time on Reddit. PFFT. I would have never heard this anywhere else.
Here in Brazil you get both of your parents' last name when you are born. Mother first, father last, so you have 2 family names. If you're royalty, someone important, you used to just keep adding them. Our former king had a massive name. But generally people don't, they just pass on their last name to their children. Bonus info. When women get married, their last name doesn't get replaced by their husband's. The husband's name gets added to the end.
I had no idea in Brazil mom's name goes first. How interesting. In Spain usually you do father's name first. Actually you can choose the order when you have a baby, but traditionally dad's last name goes first. I think you use the FOIL method.
Plazas Rodriguez, Smith Wesley, equals Plazas Smith Plazas Wesley Rodriguez Smith plus Rodriguez Wesley, equals a squared Hilm PSSTZ, a squared E squared L squared PS squared Ys, DE squared GHI squared more Stus plus DE cubed Gilo RSU Ys, equals Z, a squared Hilm PSST, a squared E squared L squared PS squared Way, DE squared GHI squared more Stu plus DE cubed Gilo RSU Way.
Depends on the country, but generally you can change your name to whatever you want. You don't even need to keep your previous family name. I know a couple of hyphenated last name people, and when they got married, they just picked a new last name.
To be fair, you can change your name whenever, including with your marriage. You're not obligated to keep your last name, you can just pick a new one. You can pick a new first name too, but I don't think you can do that at the same time as your marriage.
I had a friend whose parents combined their names. Not the real names, but as an example, one's name was Black and the other was Smith, so they just changed the name to Blacksmith. Thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool when it's Blacksmith. But Mr. Small and Mrs. Johnson on the other hand.
However they want greater than, but given they already have an inclination to hyphenate. Do they? They didn't choose to hyphenate their names. Their parents did.
I thought that as I was typing. We could just as easily assume they are fed up with having a hyphenated last name and want something more simple. Either way, I want to hear about why people get 4 last names.
In Quebec, Women do not change their name when they get married. It's not legal to change your name without a valid reason, and marriage is not considered a valid reason. Where it gets interesting is when people name their kids. Since the parents have different last names, it's quite common for children to have a hyphenated last name with each of their parents' last names, but sometimes it's just one of the two last names, most commonly the father's. If the parents also have hyphenated last names, they can give their kid any one of the four last names, or a combination of any two of the four last names. You can mix and match.
Can the kids choose all four, or is that illegal in Quebec?
I have a hyphenated last name. Where I'm from, Germany, I'm not allowed to have more than two last names, and we'd have to choose a name to be the marriage name, either one of our double names, or just one single name. For example, if my name is mine one mine two and my partner's name was theirs one theirs two, we could both be called mine one mine two, or theirs one theirs two. If we picked mine one to be the marriage name, their name could be changed to mine one theirs one, mine one theirs two, theirs one mine one, or theirs two mine one. Meanwhile, I could either keep mine one mine two or change it to just mine one. But the US is weird with names, so it might be different for you.
Greater than where I'm from, Germany, I am not allowed to have more than two last names. This reminded me of a relevant story about false assumptions about names made by programmers, who have to build software, e.g., like Germany's people database. Here's the article. https://shine-solutions.com/2018/01/08/falsehoods-programmers-believe-about-names-with-closing square bracket opening parenthesis.
What about John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt? Or is that not a problem because his name is my name too? But the question is, do people shout when the two of you go out?
In some cultures the names just continue to get added. I remember having a friend in college from Somalia who had a crazy long name which he would kindly recite for us upon request because we found it so interesting. It was a fun party trick sort of.
Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno María de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Martyr Patriciu Cleto Ruiz y Picasso has entered the chat.
Back to you, Bob.
I used to have a manager who had this happen. He and his wife both kept their original hyphenated last names because they couldn't come up with a better solution. He said he considered changing their name to just hyphen. But his wife said she didn't want to be Mrs. Dash.
That's why Pablo Picasso's full name is Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno María de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso.
I have been thinking about this. We hyphenated our daughter's name, so I guess we will see.
As someone with a hyphenated name, I think I would just choose my favorite of the 3 or 4 last names to pass on to any kids. So my parents just delayed the loss of a name, and someone may be upset when we choose one.
Is this how John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt happened? But yeah, so, I have friends who took on a whole new surname by combining their 2 surnames when they got married. She didn't necessarily want to take his, and he wasn't necessarily married to it, so they decided to combine the beginning of his and end of her last name.
2 hyphenated names would get combined with 2 more hyphens. But that's 4 hyphens altogether. So instead they use a square. Their names are then packed in a box with dynamite and exploded. The letters that fall back down within 20 feet are kept. And the whole ceremony is culminated with the lady from the county register smacking both spouses in the face.
You didn't get booted. https://www.reddit.com/r/NoStupidQuestions/comments/u3hide2/comment/i4px8s/??
You're multiplying polynomials, so use the FOIL method. Plazas Rodriguez, X, Smith Wesley. First. Plazas X Smith outer. Plazas X Wesley inner. Rodriguez X Smith last. Rodriguez X Wesley. It works out to 2, Rodriguez squared, 2, Plazas Smith, Wesley. You can double check it on Wolfram Alpha, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
LMAO, nice try. I see what you're trying to do, but that math wouldn't work out to that answer. Either way, you're using the wrong formula. You'd apply a logic formula, in this case a factorial, for. If I'm not mistaken.
You've just described the naming system used in some Latin American countries. My wife has 6 family names.
I'm so glad I asked this. I'm learning a lot. People are getting into details about the process for selecting names in those countries. I used to travel to South America a decent amount for work, but for some reason it never came up. Super interesting. K. Chevra.
Last name remix, ha ha ha.
It's the remix to a surname. Both the parents are to blame. Johnson and Ross become Ross Johnson or Johnson Ross. It's all the same.
The real, boring answer is that when you get married, in California, at least, you can choose whatever you want your surnames to be. Keep the same names, take your partner's name, hyphenate them, smash them together into a portmanteau monstrosity, whatever floats your boat.
Same in Australia. They give you a form that basically says, you want to change it up, homie? And you answer, yay, or, nah, or, yeah nah yeah, or, nah yeah nah. And if you pick any of the positive ones, you get to write that shit in like you naming your Pokemons. In my culture, the couple keeps their individual last names as is, however, their children will be Plazas Smith. This is assuming Plazas and Smith were the paternal last names as dictated in the order in which they are written. Paternal last names are listed before the maternal one. The hyphen is not a common practice in Latin America. My name became hyphenated once I moved to the US.
Actually, some Spanish-speaking people already have 2 last names. I think it's the law in Spain.
But I'm not sure if they use the hyphen to do 2 last names. I really don't know, but I am mentioning this because I know that in my family some of the people of French or English descent, when they get married, then they move their maiden name to their middle name now and then take their husband's name. So they have both names, but there is no hyphen in there, so it is technically only one last name and the other is now their new middle name. Edit. Fixed auto incorrect.
Hear me out. No more this name, that name or hyphen name. I say we smash names together for an entirely new name.
This should be the way. However, that's how Tom Riddle became Voldemort, so it could be dangerous.
So I hyphenated my kids' names and they are both 8-letter names, I know, in a monster. I've said from the beginning that they can choose whatever name they want when they grow up. Maybe they will get married and keep their current hyphenated name. Maybe when they are older they'll ask to drop one name. Then when they get married they can decide if they want to keep that or combine with their new partner. Maybe they want to completely drop the name they were given and take their partner's hyphenated name. There are plenty of possibilities out there.
I think this mindset is so funny. Instead of giving them a normal singular name and letting them change it later if they want, you've instead given them a overly complicated hyphenated last name they'll have to change it at some point. People only hyphenate last names once they marry someone and want to keep both names. Being born with a hyphenated name makes no sense.